ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतां स्वकतः कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विध्नोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Thank you all. We are in the Srimad Bhagavatam Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, studying from Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 20. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen. So we will, since it is a bigger verse, we will read word to word synonyms, then the verse, and then the translation and purport. Idam, this, he, all, Vishwam, cosmos, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Iva, almost the same, Itaraha, different, from, Yatah, from whom, Jagat, the worlds, Sthana, exist, Nirodha, annihilation, Sambhavaha, creation, Tathi, all about, Swayam, personally, Veda, know, Bhavan, your good self, Tatapi, still, Te, on to you, Pradesha Matram, a synopsis only, Bhavataha, on to you, Pradarshitam, explained. Idam hi vishwam bhagwan ivate ivetaro yato jagatstana nirodha sambhavaha taddi swayam veda bhavam statapite pradesha matram bhavatah pradarshitam. Anyone wants to try? Anyone wants to repeat? Okay, so we'll do one more time and we'll get started. Idam hi vishwam bhagavan ivetaro यतो जगत्स्थान निरोध संभवाः तद्धि स्वयं वेद भवांस्तथापि ते प्रादेशमात्रं भवतः प्रदर्शितम्. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, is Himself this cosmos, and still He is aloof from it. From Him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated, and in Him it rests, and onto Him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. Purport. For a pure devotee, the conception of Mukunda, Lord Sri Krishna, is both personal and impersonal. The impersonal cosmic situation is also Mukunda because it is the emanation of the energy of Mukunda. For example, a tree is a complete unit, whereas the leaves and the branches of the tree are emanated parts and parcels of the tree. The leaves and branches of the tree are also the tree, but the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. The Vedic version that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman means that since everything is emanating from the Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from him. Similarly, the part and parcel hands and legs are called the body, but the body as the whole unit is neither the hands nor the legs. The Lord is the transcendental form of eternity, cognition, and beauty. And thus the creation of the energy of the Lord appears to be partially eternal, full of knowledge, and beautiful also. The captivated conditioned souls under the influence of the external energy Maya are therefore entrapped in the network of the material nature. They accept this as all in all, for they have no information of the Lord who is the primeval cause, nor have they information that the parts and parcels of the body being detached from the whole body are no longer the same hand or leg as when attached to the body. Similarly, a godless civilization detached from the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is just like a detached hand or leg. Such parts and parcels may appear like hands and legs, but they have no efficiency. The devotee of the Lord, Srila Vyasadeva, knows this very well. He is further advised by Srila Narada to expand the idea so that the entrapped conditioned souls may take lessons from him to understand the Supreme Lord as the primeval cause. According to the Vedic version, the Lord is naturally fully powerful, and thus his supreme energies are always perfect and identical with him. Both the spiritual and the material skies and their paraphernalia are emanations of the internal and external energies of the Lord. The external energy is comparatively inferior, whereas the internal potency is superior. The superior energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical. But the external energy, being inert, is partially identical. But both the energies are neither equal to nor greater than the Lord, who is the generator of all energies. Such energies are always under his control, exactly as electrical energy, however powerful it may be, is always under the control of the engineer. The human being and all other living beings are products of his internal energies. Thus, the living being is also identical with the Lord, but he is never equal or superior to the supreme or to the personality of Godhead. The Lord and living beings are all identical persons. With the help of the material energies, the living beings are also creating something, but none of these creations are equal or superior to the creations of the Lord. The human being may create a small, playful Sputnik and may throw it into outer space, but that does not mean that he can create a planet like Earth or Moon and float it in the air as Lord does. Men with poor fund of knowledge claim to be equal to the Lord. They are never equal to the Lord. This is never to be. The human being, after attaining complete perfection, may achieve a large percentage of the qualities of the Lord, say up to 78%, but it is never possible to surpass the Lord or become equal to him. In a diseased condition only, the foolish being claims to be one with the Lord and thus becomes misled by the illusory energy. The misguided living beings, therefore, must accept the supremacy of the Lord and agree to render loving service to Him. For this they have been created. Without this, there cannot be any peace or tranquility in this world. Srila Vyasadeva is advised by Srila Narada to expand this idea in the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita, also the same idea is explained. Surrender fully onto the lotus feet of the Lord. This is the only business of the perfect human being. Hare Krishna. Before we discuss, we'll say the pranam mantras. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are in the 5th chapter where Narada Muni is instructing Srila Vyasadeva about starting writing about Srimad Bhagavatam, and he is also giving the motivation on why it is to be so, and while doing also addressing his Vyasadeva's concern that he is not having the satisfaction of why he, after writing all the Vedic scriptures, that he is still feeling that dissatisfaction in his life. So Narad Muni comes and tells that this is the chapter where he starts his instructions, and this is where he was telling about, he gave the background until now that how bhakti is the topmost, and how the four purusharthas are really not the complete purpose of the human life, which is the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. There is something beyond that, and which is the pure devotional service. And today he is telling that the glory of the Supreme Lord, which is, and he also says that Vyasadeva knows already this, but he is just giving a synopsis just to plant the seed, or give him the motivation required to start writing about Srimad Bhagavatam. And the synopsis that Srila Narada gave to Vyasadeva today is basically what we will be discussing, which is how the Supreme Lord Krishna is the source of both the personal and impersonal. Let me actually share my screen. Is both the source for both the personal and impersonal aspects of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavatam, in the earlier verses, we saw 1 to 6, right? Vadanti tat, or 1 to 10. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yat gnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. Means the absolute truth is manifested in three aspects. One is the impersonal Brahman, one is the localized Paramatma, and one is the personal Bhagavan. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that Brahman is the basis. He is the basis for Brahman. Means that Brahman is emanating from him only. And even in Ishopanishad, there is a prayer that says, "Oh, Supreme Lord, please remove that glaring effulgence from my eyes because I cannot see your real form." Which means that in the material world, we are all under Maya. First of all, we cannot even understand that concept that we are in the Maya until we take shelter of the Supreme Lord. But let's say, which comes with the mercy of the devotee. Let's say we take the mercy of the devotee and we start practicing this devotional service, or take any form of yoga, which says that everything is Brahman. We can come to that realization. But what we see is from the Ishopanishad prayer, even if we completely remove, first come to the stage of removing our attachment to the material world, we still will be only able to see the impersonal manifestation of the Supreme Lord, which is the Brahman. Only if the Supreme Lord desires, or if the Supreme Lord gives his mercy, that glaring effulgence will be removed and we can see his real form. And unless and until that happens, we will still be in the Brahman and Brahman platform. And so it is also said, Patantiyada, means like after few millennia, we will again fall down to the material world. Because if you imagine yourself, if you see there is so much troubles going on in your life, what you can do, you can actually go and lock yourself in a room and be there for some time. Maybe you can stay there for 1-2 days like that. But after some time, you still have to come back, because the soul's real happiness comes when there is a relationship. And but on the other hand, if you really love someone, and if you are always in their association, you forget all the other things in life. But of course, that love is not the real love, because we cannot make someone happy permanently. But if you that is the analogy we can take. So what we can understand is, if we are in the real relationship that we have with the Supreme Lord, if we establish that relationship, that's when we will be permanently happy. Even if we go and lock ourselves in the, or stay ourselves from this material world and go to the Brahman platform, which is Brahmajyoti, we still hanker for that relationship and again have to fall back. Because when we try to enter into any of the Vaikuntha planets, the gods of the planet says, Jaya Vijay, they say, hey, what is the relationship you have with the Supreme Lord? I say, no, I only have, I don't have any relationship. I only exited out of the material world. Then no Vaikuntha planet allows you. So then what you have to do, you have to again fall back to establish that relationship with the Supreme Lord, to go back to those Vaikuntha planets, where once you enter, you will not come back. And for that, what happens? Once you fall back again, you have to take life in the material world, and again you have to go through this millions, 8,400,000 species of life. And in this process, you don't remember where you were before. And so there, from this millions and millions, millennials and millions, millennias and millennias, we have been associated with this material world. Either we were in the Brahman platform, fall down, or we went to higher planets and came down. But we are all under the influence of Maya. Once we come under the influence of Maya, what we do? We think that we are the creator, we are the controller, we are the lord of our everything that we survey. And in that process, what we do, we try to create something like a big house. We try to take happiness out of it, but it really doesn't come. One analogy that was given between the personal and impersonal manifestation is how the tree, right? If take the you can't take one branch and say this is the tree. At the same time, you cannot take one leaf, this is the tree. Well, all the branches and leaves together make up the tree. Similarly, all the energies of the Lord, all the different aspects of the Supreme Lord, make up the Supreme Lord, but he is aloof from it, which means that he is still the whole. We have also the invocation mantra from Ishopanishad that says Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Means in this material world, if you take something out of something, what remains is only a portion of it, because you took something out. But unlike that, in the spiritual world, if you take the entire whole from the whole, what remains is the whole, which means that if you take one from one, in material world, 1 minus 1 is 0, but in the spiritual world, 1 minus 1 is still 1, means the supreme whole remains. So even though Krishna expands himself in unlimited manifestations, he is still the complete whole. And each of these manifest expansions, one of them being Mahavishnu, is further expanding into so many universes from his pores. And still, he is Krishna is a complete whole. He can enter into this whole and still be whole. He can reside in the Goloka Vrindavan and still be whole. So that is what we have to understand. And he is aloof from it, even though this material world is his energy. He doesn't come under the influence. There are two types of living beings. One is the fallible and the infallible. Means fallible means someone who can fall or come under the influence of Maya. And the second type of living entity is infallible, means who never fell down. And of those infallible souls, there is one who is the topmost, which is the Supreme Lord. Nobody, which means that it's written here, even though somebody can uh, get liberation and can enter into that infallible group of living entities, they still cannot be equal to the Supreme Lord. And what to speak about living entities when his most highest energy, which is the Radharani and the material energy, which is Mother Durga, both are the topmost energies, both from the spiritual standpoint and the material standpoint, respectively, but they still are under the control of Lord Krishna. So then, we living entities, if we think that I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, I am everything, then it is completely under illusion. And we can see from the past times also, right? If we take Brahma, who is the topmost living entity in this material world, and we take Indra, who is also the leader of all the demigods, or the king of all the demigods. Even they come under the influence of Maya from time to time. That shows that how much powerful this Maya is. And Brahma, what he saw that this little boy Krishna is doing so many pastimes and Vrindavana. Out of the influence of Maya, he thinks that who is this boy? This little boy is playing some tricks on these people. I have to teach him a lesson. So what he does, he goes and steals his friends, the Gopa boys and the cows, and hides them. And he comes back after one day. And he goes to some higher planet, maybe where one day here is equal to 1 year. And 1 year passes. When he comes back, he sees that all the cows and the Gopa boys are still there. Then he understands, oh, this is not possible for anyone else other than the Supreme Lord. And he immediately understands what he did, what mistake, and then he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. And then uh, Supreme Lord reveals himself as the complete whole, where he expanded himself as the other Gopa boys, as the cows, and for 1 year he gave the pleasure to all the residents of Raja there. Similarly, we have Indra, where he wanted, when the residents of Vrindavana were worshipping Govardhan, instead of offering those sacrifices to him, he sent his Samvartaka storm, which generally happens at the time of annihilation. And Krishna protected all the residents by lifting the Govardhana hill, which just with his little finger, left hand little finger, and he stood there for 7 days and 7 nights, means total 7 days. And then Indra finally gives up and comes to surrender, and he brings along with him the Surabhi cow, just to please Krishna or make him not angry at him. But in these both cases, we see that they are both under illusion. And one thing we can see is it appear from some of the learned acharyas, they say that in this both pastimes, Krishna was a little bit more upset with Brahma than Indra. If we guess the reason, one of the reason is, even though both were under the illusion, the act that Brahma did separated the devotees from Krishna, means he took the Gopa boys and cows away from Krishna. But the act that Indra did actually brought the devotees closer to Krishna, which is they all came nearer to Krishna under the Govardhana hill, and they spent 7 days there. So that's why Krishna was not as upset with Indra as Brahma. So whatever we do, we should not try to separate any devotees from the Supreme Lord. Means we should not put anybody under trouble. That's the biggest thing. We have to be very careful, and we should try to engage devotees in the service of the Supreme Lord as much as possible. We ourselves engaging. And the two energies we discussed also, right, which is the material energy and the spiritual energy, and then the two types of living entities, fallible and the infallible. And nobody can be equal to God. And finally, what Prabhupada says is that we can only be happy if we surrender to the Supreme Lord. If we analyze why, we can see, right, this material energy is the inert energy. Means it is, even though it's identical, it is partially not the full man, not fully as much in terms of the completely identical with the Supreme Lord in terms of potency. Yeah. So the internal potency is superior, but the material potency is not, which means that some living entities have some capacity to control this inert material nature also. So when we come here, the first reason we come here is whatever be the reason we had that initial thought. I want to enjoy independently from Krishna. I don't want to be in association or in relationship with Krishna. Why Krishna has to be the Supreme Lord? Always why we all have to serve him only? Why I cannot take the place of Krishna where I can get the service from everyone, where I can be the controller? Unfortunately, that doesn't work in the spiritual world. You have to remove that completely. You, in the sense, we all have to remove that completely from our thought, saying that in the spiritual world there is only one controller, everybody else is controlled. There is only one enjoyer, everybody else is enjoyed or giving service. When we tell that give service means, it always comes with a negative concoction, because from time immemorial in this material world, we think that service means I have to give my energies to someone. They are not impressed. For example, you are serving your boss, giving all your energies to do the best work, but your boss is not at all impressed. Or even though he might be appearing as interested, he's not fully impressed with the amount of work that you put together. So there is dissatisfaction. So you see, you gave the best, but there is dissatisfaction. So when, and even though you're serving your family or the nation or whatever, and you thought that you did everything for your family, but your kids are not happy with you, your wife is not happy with you, your husband is not happy with you, then then you think that, oh, service means misery. Service means dissatisfaction. So when we say serve the Supreme Lord, we will think, oh, service, I don't want to serve. So, but the thing we have to understand is, in the spiritual world, service means complete satisfaction, complete bliss. Because anything that is done in the relationship with the Supreme Lord reciprocates equally, and with the it's on the platform of the Satchit Ananda, means complete eternity, complete bliss, and complete knowledge. And once we engage in that relationship, we get that complete satisfaction back. We cannot imagine that because we haven't seen that here. But if we start engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord, then we start getting the glimpses of that, where we see Krishna starts reciprocating. We can see his hand in our life every time. And Krishna is called the Makhan Chor, means he steals the butter. How did Mother Yashoda find out Krishna was the thief? He left footprints all over, like when he was walking. So same thing, Krishna comes and removes all our miseries, but then he is is a bad thief that he leaves his footprints all over our life, where we can clearly see that, oh, it is Krishna doing it, nobody else that is doing it. And once we take to the shelter of Krishna, then the material miseries will be gone. Because with the thought process, what we did, we thought we wanted to be independent of Krishna, and the thought will make us go into this material world where we have the ability. Krishna is not sending us, hey, go and suffer here. No. If our thought process is that I want to enjoy independently, Krishna gave us this facility where we can come into this material nature, where it is inert and not as potent as the superior energy, where the living entities have, to different degrees, the control on this. So that's why you see some demigods have more control, demons have more control compared to humans, because they seem to be a little bit more powerful in terms of their potency. And we can also either go do pious activities, build that potency and get more control, or do some impious activities and lose our potency and go into animalistic life and get into the complete control of the material nature without any of our abilities. Like when you take material nature, the animals and the trees and all, they are under the full control. In the human form of life, we have some independence, and it is in the middle where we can't control completely, or as much as the other demigods and demons do. At the same time, we can control a little bit. So we are trying to create some things and make our life happy, but the miseries are always there. What are the two types of miseries? One is the tapatraya or the klesha, means adhyatmik, adidaivik, adibhautik. The misery is caused by your own body and mind. Misery is caused by the other living entities. Misery is caused by the natural calamities. And even though you can try to escape that, you cannot escape the bhava roga, means the janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, the four things that everybody has to go through. With these things in place, and if you try to think that, oh, I am enjoying, then it is complete ignorance, or it's just trying to make yourself ignorant by not looking. If you don't want to think about something, you look at something else and think that you're happy, right? But you have to sooner or later realize that this place is not a place. It's dukkhalayam shashvatam, and we have to get out of it. And only if our misery is gone, then we will be able to get the complete satisfaction and peace. And how is it possible? Not by going to higher planets, not by going into animal species of life, or not trying to stay human by doing some pious activities, or not even going to Brahman platform, only by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Sucha. Means I'm giving you a promise. If you completely surrender unto me, I will take you back. And once we go back there, then we don't even have to come back. So with that, I close and I give some time for any questions or comments. Okay, if no questions, we can close. Hare Krishna, want to take over.
I have one small question.
Your voice is a little low, Prabhuji. Can you come closer?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hope it is better now. Hare
What
Krishna,
is-
Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Praj.
Prabhuji, actually, there are 5 types of liberation. One is which, as you mentioned, like if someone is getting the Brahman realization and getting into the Brahma Jyoti, there is a chance of falling down again because he will not be entered by, let's say, the guards of Supreme Lord in any Vaikuntha planet. But when the soul will go, spirit soul will go into Brahma Jyoti, that itself is the abode of Supreme Lord, or it is outside of Supreme Lord?
It is outside. So the
outside.
whole, we have two energies, material, we have two worlds, material world and the spiritual world. When we say the spiritual world, it is a combination of the different Vaikuntha planets and the effulgence, the whole Brahmajyoti effulgence. So when we say mukti, right, liberation, it just means that it's a liberation from the material suffering. So that doesn't mean that a permanent place in the spiritual world, especially when the one you mentioned, Sayujya, means in terms of the energy, we are similar to the Supreme Lord. So we might be getting a mukti from the material world and going into that Brahmajyoti. But there is, if whenever we think that I want to enjoy in association with the Supreme Lord, then we have to come back here because we are not qualified to enter into the Vaikuntha planets because we did not have that kind of um, a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. So it is the spiritual world is a combination of both the spiritual planets as well as Brahmajyoti together. That's why the Sayuja is also called Mukti from the material world. Does that answer your question, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. So I was trying to understand that, Prabhuji. Like in 15.5 Bhagavad Gita, Lord mentioned like if someone reaches my abode, he will never come back to material world. But since this Brahma Jyoti is not inside his abode, there is a chance of falling down. I mean,
Yeah, the Brahmajyoti is everything. Means the Supreme Brahman is everything, and Brahmajyoti specifically is the energy where the Sayuja Mukti is speaking about. But when Krishna is talking about come to my abode, which is in a relationship with him. When once we establish that forgotten relationship, then we will not come back. Any follow-up question, Prabhuji, or is that good?
Yeah, that is good, Prabhuji. I mean, I'll just summarize what I understood, Prabhuji. So, though it is a kind of Sahoja is one kind of liberation, and it is emerging with the Brahmajyoti, but that is not going to happen in complete spiritual world. It is in between material and spiritual world. There is a
No, we
chance
still
of
no. It is spiritual world. We cannot say it is not spiritual world, but it is effulgence. It is not in terms of the complete. So Brahman platform is eternity. So you see the Prabhupada compares it as this. You see the Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, which we are eternal, full of consciousness and full of bliss. The Brahman platform is only realizing the Sat platform, not the Chit and bliss, Ananda. But when we go to the abode of the Supreme Lord, it is both Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So it is the spiritual world. We cannot say it is not the spiritual world, but not a complete manifestation of all the fullness of the what the soul can achieve.
got it, Prabhuji. Since we are not establishing any relation with Lord, so there will be no all the I mean the Sachit and all the three
Yeah.
things. But Prabhuji, then in that case, it is violating the statement which Supreme Lord mentioned in 15.68. Someone comes back to my abode will never fall down material world. If it is within the spiritual world that Brahman emerging into Brahman or Sausya Mukti, then again if there is a potential to come down to material world, that means it is violating the 15.6. So I was trying to understand from that angle. If someone asks this kind of question, how to answer them, Roji, if you can
It is the
just.
spiritual world, but at the same time, Krishna is saying my abode. When you say my abode, he is saying that when you come into my house, you will not go anywhere. But if you are standing outside my house, it is still you have the independence to go back, right? So coming into my house means you surrendered your independence also and said that Krishna, I want to be with you. But when you went to the Brahmajyoti, you still have that independence, so you can always go back. Krishna is not going to force you and keep you there. So that
The,
is the medium state that we have.
the Brahmajyoti is effulgence, the
Yeah,
outer border of the spiritual planet. It's not actual spiritual planet.
yeah.
So if you see the Goloka chart, the Brahmajyoti is the outer layer of the spiritual planet. It's not inside. As Patitapavana Prabhu told that you did not enter into the planet, just you are in between material world and spiritual world.
Yeah, I think the confusion is between the word abode and spiritual world. So what I'm saying is when Krishna says abode, it is mentioning his planets. But when you try to summarize, you said that this Brahmajyoti is not the spiritual world. No, what I'm saying is Brahmajyoti is the spiritual world, not the material world. But the abode means he is coming saying that you are entering into my planet.
Yeah, also, I understood Ajit Prabhu's confusion. Uh, Here, this is Achintya Beda Beda Tattva Prabhuji. The effulgence is coming from Krishna. So it should not be material, right? Everything absolute, which is coming from Krishna, which is related to Krishna. So in that way, the Brahman effulgence is also spiritual, but it is on the threshold. It is at the edge point. So he did not completely enter because he doesn't have service attitude. That's why he was not able to enter into the spiritual world, means a spiritual planet of Krishna within that. So he was on the threshold. So there are chances because he doesn't have desire, he doesn't have engagement. There are chances to fall down from that threshold, from that border.
Thank you much. Thank you, Prabhuji. I understood what I said.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you
Wonderful.
for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Wonderful. Very nice conversation. That's how it should be, Bhagavatam. So thank you very much, Patitapavana Prabhu, for delivering wonderful class. Let's chant three times Hari Bol by thanking him. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Let's offer our praise to Lord Narasimha to give complete protection of this our congregation and entire world. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Narasimham Bhishanam Badram Muchur Muchur Namamyaham. उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम्। श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। We will have a Sunday feast on Sunday evening, 5:30 p.m. onwards. Everybody welcome. And this Saturday, we are going for book distribution as part of the December book distribution marathon. I encourage everyone to participate and distribute some Srila Prabhupada books and get his unlimited mercy. We'll have next Bhagavatam class on Monday morning, 6:30 a.m. With that, let's offer our obeisances to all assembled Vaishnavas and chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय। अमल पुराणम श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे हरे बोल। हरे कृष्णा। See you all on Monday morning, 6:30 a.m. and Sunday evening, Sunday feast. Hare Krishna.